Hi, guys. Hey, everybody. I am here with Gotham Gymnastics live, and I'm so excited to be bringing in I said it before, one of my most favorite people, McKenna Kelley, to share with you her experiences at LSU as an LSU gymnast, and also to give us some insight on really how to dig into our mental game, our mental imagery. So I'm waiting to see McKenna, if you can give me a shout out in the comments. This would probably help if I wore my glasses, right? Yep, probably. Okay, now we're not scrolling the comments. So how are we doing? Can you all hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Nothing is scrolling. Okay. Let's see what's going on. She's there. Hi, guys. Oh, your comments are so cute. Where's McKellar? Hi, Jack. How are you? Jack, I miss you. Okay, McKenna, I'm bringing you in. Here.
Woo!
Hi.
How are you?
I'm so good. Look at
Good.
my tiny face. How adorable are you?
Thanks.
Okay. Love all these guys. Love your
Hey
comments.
guys.
Isn't that great? Say hi. Give them a shout out.
What's up, everyone? Gotham. I may know some of you guys. If you come down or if you went down to Gym Stars in Tennessee with Coach Becca, then I probably got to work with you guys. And if you came out to the Aurora Games, then I got to see you guys there too.
So,
Awesome.
okay. I'm going to keep the comments on for a bit.
Yeah.
So, McKenna, I did a little tease with Daniel Miranda from Gotham about
Okay.
an hour ago. And I have told this, and I've told your mom this, and I have just said that you're one of my most favorite people because you are always positive, energy, so grateful for everything. And I just point out that I know I came into the recruiting seeing a little on you. You're one of the ones that but I know
Oh.
I've told you that before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That means so much. I think like when I first figured out how big and how cool college gymnastics was, that at the time Georgia was like they were winning everything, so I really wanted to go to Georgia. And then my eighth grade English class, we had to write a letter to someone, and I wrote one to you. I don't know if you remember this, but you sent me a poster and a handwritten card and a t-shirt, and it was like a dream come true. It was so cool. So from that point forward, I was like UCLA.
Oh,
Yeah, it was cool.
and you know what? I have to tell you, for most people know you, and they know that Mary Lou Retton is your mom. But
Right.
I felt like this kinship with you in 1904, after your mom won the all-around championship at the Olympics that were held at UCLA.
Yeah.
She came in. She was doing some TV show or something, and came in and trained at our gym at UCLA. And within a day or two after, there was this beautiful bouquet with the most sincere note of gratitude.
Oh,
Her, like the Olympic champion, letting her train in our gym, and it was
that's
just
sweet.
so sweet. And we've remained close ever since because of that one little note. It was awesome. So thank you.
It's so personal things and things that are made out to someone specific. It means so much more. It's just so sweet. Things like that are so sweet.
I always tell our gymnasts and ELO gymnasts out there, I always tell them there's nothing you can get me, parents, you can get your coaches, nothing like a handwritten note of gratitude.
Truly. Yeah.
Those are the things that I've kept. So tell us where you went to school, when you graduated, what you graduated in, all that.
Yes. So I was a gymnast at LSU. Can't really see. It's kind of vague on my shirt, but it's got tigers on my straps here. But I went to LSU all 4 years. It was amazing. I studied psychology, so I graduated with a degree in psychology. Right now, I'm coaching at Capital Gymnastics in Cedar Park. So if any of my girls are on, shout out to you guys. We've been trying to get creative and hosting like online practices on Zoom and doing interactive things, and that's been really fun. I know you guys, I know we're all struggling together right now. I know it's kind of a weird time, but get creative. Go on video chats with your teammates, and maybe you guys can do some conditioning together, or work on your handstand forms, or play a game. Like, don't be afraid to try something new and use this time wisely, because the moment those gym doors open again, what kind of gymnast are you going to be? Are you going to be ready to go because you did all the mental training and you were doing conditioning and flexibility at home? Like, use this time to your advantage. I know that kind of got off topic about me at all,
Oh,
but I think that's just so important to talk about right now, because I know everyone's kind of confused, and there's so many unknowns right now, but let's try to look on the bright side of things. You guys have so much more time to get new skills when the gym gets back open, so that'll be really exciting. But Miss Val and I are going to get into more about goal setting and visualization and things you can be working on to help you when the doors do open, because they will when the gym gets started again.
okay.
For sure.
I have a question for you. You were a
Yeah.
gymnast. You were.
You cut out. I was a what gymnast?
You were
Good gymnast?
great.
Thank you.
Great. You were a great student. Like when I looked up all of your accolades, you have succeeded as an athlete and you have succeeded in the SEC. So congratulations to you on that. And
Thank
I
you.
also know you were a phenomenal leader from the
Thank you.
moment you went in as a freshman. Can you talk about what it means to be a leader, how hard it is, and do you have to have an outgoing, bubbly personality to be an effective leader?
Well, first of all, thank you. Those are very kind words. And no, the answer is no. Leadership comes in so many different forms. You do not have to be the one that's a goofball like me, that is always wanting to talk, always wanting to be in the spotlight. You don't need to be like that. Being a leader is being the best that you can be. You don't have to be the best to be a leader. You don't have to be, if you guys watched LSU, or if you know Kyla Ross from UCLA, you don't have to, or Maggie Nichols, you don't have to be the girls getting tens. A leader is being a good teammate. A leader is being the best version that you can be. And a leader is someone who steps up and is constantly wanting to just be better, not only for themselves, but for the people around them. That's something I actually learned at LSU in our team meetings. We would have a Monday meeting every Monday, obviously a Monday meeting. But that's something our coaches really, what's the word I'm looking for, emphasized to us was, hey, leaders don't have to look like the ones that do all the talking. Leaders can be obviously like Sarah Finnegan, who's unbelievably successful, definitely led our team, but she wasn't someone who was loud and goofy at practice like I was. She was someone that went into the gym with her head down and just did her work, and she was a leader by her work ethic. Kennedy Edney, she was a senior at this past year, she was a senior at LSU, big competitor. When the lights came on, that girl could compete. She was a leader in that aspect, getting that game face on, getting in a right mindset of doing her job as a competitor. There's so many different forms of leadership. It doesn't have to look like the one who's talking the most. It doesn't have to look like the one who's super encouraging. You can lead in so many different ways. So just know that you guys can all be leaders by just being you and working on the things that you can work on for yourself.
So I know that it's easy to think about having leaders in a college setting because college
Yeah.
is the farthest team. Where'd you go?
Sorry, I was
Hi.
sitting on the floor, and so just had to move.
I looked back and McKenna was gone.
Right here, right here.
Okay, before I ask that question, I want you to know I'm wearing gold. You're wearing purple. Gold.
That is so kind. Well, I guess that's a color we share.
It is a color we share, but I wore it specifically. I don't have purple. Okay. So leaders, when you think about leaders and leaders, it's you think of college. You don't think about strong leaders in a club, but how important is it to have strong leadership in a club?
Oh my, So important. Because if you think about it, girls, who are the people in your gym that you look up to? Like, and think about why you look up to them. Is it because they work really hard? Is it because they're really nice to everyone? Is it because they're always the teammate that's willing to put the pad on the beam when you do your skill, or they're always willing to go get the chalk block for, because you're running out of chalk? Like, leadership is so important, and being a leader is so important because you are not only pushing yourself to be better, but if you're pushing everyone around you to be better, you guys are all becoming better because you're creating an environment that is healthy and that is exciting and inspiring. You guys should strive to be someone that looks at themselves in the mirror and says, how can I be better today? How can I be a better teammate? How can I be a better sister? How can I be a better daughter? It doesn't have to look like going and winning the Olympics or getting a 10. Being a better sister could be doing the dishes when it's maybe your sister's turn to do it, or being the teammate that, I'll go set the vault table this time. Like you did it last time. Those, like the little things, is how we can get better. It doesn't always have to look like, how can my gymnastics be better? Because at the end of the day, you are a human being and we are always growing and changing. And you want to look at yourself and say, how can I be better? But being a leader and having leadership in club is so important because you spend so much time in the gym. So if you are around these girls all the time, you're going to start rubbing off on each other. So it's important that you guys are being leaders and you guys are doing positive things and loving on each other and encouraging each other, because you're all in this together. So important.
And you talked about people like yourself, like Kyla Ross, like Maggie Nichols, the people that are out there, and
Yeah.
the pressure for them is to go out and score as high as they can every single weekend.
Sure.
It's hard to be a leader.
Yeah.
Because when you're a leader, you can't stay out. You can't choose when to show up. But the best leaders that we had on our teams are people that most people don't even know, but their teammates push them so much because they're the ones that show up every day and make sure that they're making the team better. And
absolutely.
you don't have to wait back into the gym, you guys.
Yeah.
Really, leadership skills. It starts by literally having a text party, a Zoom party.
Yeah.
And it's not just about when you think about how can I be a leader today in this environment, my house, for my team, what does that look like? It's not about all fun and games. It's about how to put out something motivating to someone said, what? Turn down the, what was that? Down the volume.
I'm not even seeing comments.
No, I took the comments off.
Okay, good. I was like,
but like if I was a 12-year-old right now and I think how much great, I would find a way to go connect with all my gym guys. What's our going to be tomorrow? And let's all come up with a goal.
Yeah.
A team goal. And that's how you come up. So, okay. So let's talk about the importance of visualization.
Yes.
We learned that at LSU. And
definitely.
What it did for you, how you learned.
It just cut out.
How you learned it.
Okay.
Why was it important for LSU? Because you told me that was one of the things they really
for sure
did at LSU. And then take us through our practice.
Yeah. So my background with visualization and keywords actually started way back in club. So that has always been something that is super, super important to me. Something I've just been taught, and it's kind of just become habit. So yeah.
Can you turn your volume just a little bit?
Turn it down.
Turn it down.
Is that better?
I don't know. Someone asked me to ask you to turn down your volume.
I get loud when I'm like excited about things that I love. I'm like, I use my hands a lot and I'm like screaming. So I totally understand.
Okay.
Hopefully that's better. Let me know if it's not.
Okay, I will.
Okay. So my background with club, or not with club, with keywords and visualization started actually in club. That's something we've always done. One of my coaches, literally, she would make us like do homework like almost every day, writing our key terms out. Like sometimes our beam workouts would just be us on the line on the floor. You guys all know what I'm talking about when you warm up on the line. And we would have to out loud for every dance pose, every skill, say our keywords out loud because she wanted our mind to be focused. She wanted us to be focused because when you get on the beam, sometimes you're like, okay, like what's for dinner tonight? Or gosh, I have so much homework. And then you do a back handspring and it's over before you know it. And you're so not focused. You're really, really nervous and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to fall, or I'm going to go crooked, or whatever you may be thinking. And so that's why keywords are so important, because it keeps your mind focused, keeps your mind right, to compete and to practice well. That's why those things are so important. So again, I started back in club for me. And then when we got to LSU, Dee Dee Bro, my head coach, was super big on key terms and super big on mental routines. In between every beam routine, we would have to go down to the floor and do a mental set and dance through our routines and tell ourselves, like, okay, tall here, and all those sorts of things. But those things are so important. And if you've ever had an injury, or you've ever not been able to compete for whatever reason. I had an injury my junior year. I tore my Achilles, so I missed the whole season. Someone just messaged me about my sound, I think. Is this better? I had it on a table.
You're echoing a bit, like it's really loud. That's okay. Just
okay. Just chill. So when I got injured, I obviously couldn't do rail gymnastics, right? I couldn't do flips. I couldn't do any of those physical things, but what could I do in the meantime? Well, obviously I could do my rehab. I could ice. I could stretch my Achilles. I could do all the things the doctors and my trainers were telling me to do. Duh, that's a given. But I think we all know how mental gymnastics is, right? If you ever have a mental block, I'm sure some of you have or struggle with mental blocks. When you're on that beam or you're about to jump to the high bar and you're so nervous and you finally do it, you've always, physically, it's never been the problem. It's your head that gets in the way, right? So knowing I was going to get back from this injury, I was telling myself, okay, well, if I can train my brain, if I can keep my brain focused, if I can keep my brain still doing gymnastics, then when I physically get back into this, it's going to be a piece of cake. Because again, we all know physically our bodies know what they're doing, but sometimes our brains get in the way. So when I was injured, I would go to every single event, every single day. I would stand by the beam because I was in a boot, so I obviously couldn't get on the beam. But I would stand right next to the beam and I would visualize, and I'd walk down on the side of the mat and I'd pretend I was doing my beam routine. I do that like 3 times. And I'd go over to the vault runway. I know some of you guys, you have your number that you start at. You have your little thing that you do before you vault. Maybe you like rub your hands together, or you do a little jump before you run, whatever it may be. I was pretending like I was competing and like I was vaulting. So I'd go to my number. I would do my little start before I'd run. And I'd pretend to run and I'd visualize myself doing my vault, sticking the landing, and I'd finish. Then I'd go over to floor and I would just walk through my floor routine. I would do the dance with my arms and I'd walk down the floor, step and finish like I just nailed a tumbling pass. And then I didn't do bars, so I didn't have to worry about that. But it's so important to keep your mind focused and keep your mind training, because if we can keep visualizing our skills up here, it's going to be such an easy translation once we get back into things. So those things super duper helped me because I felt confident when I got back to doing my gymnastics. I felt like I'd been doing it the whole time. Obviously, I got to watch my teammates do it too. And I knew I wouldn't be doing gymnastics for a whole year. That's a long time. So I had to be the best gymnast. I had to focus on the things that I could work on in the meantime to help myself get back in a good place when the time came. Just like for you guys, when those doors open again and we can all train again, what have you done in this time now to help you be a better gymnast? Well, that's what we're going to do today, is we're going to go through each event. You guys are going to think about your skills, think about your routines, think about the new skills you want to get. And we're going to focus and visualize together each of those skills.
Yeah. Can you just take us through what your routine sounded like for them?
Oh yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
can you just do that for us so they
Yeah.
can?
I obviously don't like completely remember it. But I can give you definitely an idea of like something I would do. So on my beam series, before I'd go, like I would do like a few poses before. I would tell myself my corrections or the things I wanted to focus on. I'm super, super unflexible. I don't know how many of you out there are too. But when I would do back handspring, my arms would always bend on the beam because my shoulders couldn't open all the way, and it was just this whole thing. So I always had to tell myself, tall, stay tall, because if I thought about being tall, I felt like I was longer. I felt like I wouldn't be so squatty on the beam. So I would tell myself tall, over the top, press, finish. So over the top in my back layout on the beam, because if we're focused on going straight over the beam, over the top of the beam, it's going to keep my mind square. And something to note, I think sometimes it's a lot of trial and error with words. Don't be afraid to try words. If you know that your leap on beam, that your coach always tells you, hey, your arms are doing that weird thing again where they don't have a perfect shape, you know what I mean? Sometimes they drop or sometimes they just look funny and they need to be pressed out to the side. Try different words to remind yourself that. Before you step into your leap, think like arms long or arms out or press back or pretty, like whatever. Sometimes you have to try different words that may click. Some words may really make you think, oh, that's what it reminded me of. And some words may make you think that didn't really help. And that's okay. There's a lot of trial and error to this, but you have so much time at home, you can try all of those words. It took some time for me to figure out what words worked for me and what words I almost forgot. Okay, well, what am I trying to correct? It was just kind of being a word. The word has to have purpose. If you guys are following. So I would tell myself that. I used to do a standing back layout into a wolf jump. And this was like the hardest seal for me because I'm super quick twitch. I'm super fast. And so I always tried to rush my connection. I don't know how many of you, maybe you do a switch leap back tuck and you can never just finish your leap and go into your back tuck. Maybe you like bring that back leg down and try to throw it back tuck and it's always crooked because you don't slow it down and control. That was my problem. So I would always tell myself slow and flow. What did I say? I said like slow and float. That's what I said, because I wanted my back layout to rise instead of me whipping it off the beam, and I wouldn't be able to connect anything out of it. So, but that one took a long time for me to find the right words for that, to help me slow my mind down in that moment, because I knew that was a skill that made me want to go really, really fast. So it's
what's cool about that. I can't imagine there's a coach out there that would tell someone on a standing layout step out wolf jump.
Yeah.
I would never ever think to say slow and float.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
And what you're telling them right now is just priceless information. I remember I used to tell my girls that would do back handsprings crooked, and I would say, push through your legs. To me, it made so much sense.
Yes.
Push through your legs. And finally, one of my athletes said, Miss Val, that doesn't work. I think strong legs.
Mm-hmm.
And
exactly. Girls, that's exactly what I mean, because Miss Val was saying push through your legs, but the gymnast was saying, but strong legs works better for me. You're trying to correct the same thing. The word doesn't matter as long as it's making you be a better gymnast and you make that correction. That's what matters. It took the float thing nuts. But it really helped me to get my hips up in that back layout instead of just bending through my knees and like gainering on the beam. So that was super, super helpful for me.
I really want you to close your eyes. I don't want you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because I think it would be super helpful to close your eyes, put yourself back in competition, and do an arm routine and take us through your verbal choreography. What that sounds.
Okay. I can, you know what? Because I only competed beam like twice, but floor, definitely something I can remember. So before my floor routines, can you guys hear me okay? Put it back on the table.
Oh, you're still loud, so we're good.
I'm loud? Of course I'm loud. What's new? Okay, I'll scoot back. Maybe that's helpful. So before my floor routines, I did a double layout as my first pass. I did a front layout, front full for my second pass, and I ended with a double back. For a while, I did a front tuck step out to double back. So I'm going to go with that one because that is more of a trickier pass. And I feel like that's more of a common connection these days. So anyway, so before my floor routine, before I would go and compete, you guys know how long it takes for the judge to get ready. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm nervous. I'm so sweaty. I've gotten so much talk. Can you please hurry? Like, I want to compete. Well, I was the last on floor. And usually at a home meet, you're finishing the whole meet. And so I'm like waiting for what felt like forever to get this floor routine started. But in those moments, it's so important to keep your brain focused on positive things, to keep your brain focused on your routine and the little things that you want to work on and focus on in those moments. Because if you're not thinking about anything, that's when the doubt starts creeping in, right? That's when the fear starts coming in. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous, or I fell on this last week, I'm going to do that again. You're not going to do that again. But if you're telling your brain, like we already talked about how strong and powerful your brain is, you're going to trip yourself up. So you got to keep your mind in a good place. And that's something I always did. I would stay goofy with my teammates because that would help me be in a good place. That was a good place for me. But right before, when I'm waiting for the judge, I used to write, our coach made us write like words on our wrist. So one would say, you know, like if I needed to feel confident that day, I'd write confident, and I'd write powerful, or whatever I was feeling I needed to have a reminder of, I'd write on my wrist. So right before the judge, I'm waiting on the judge. She's taking her sweet time, right? I would tell myself all the things that I needed, that I would work on in practice. Because girls, it's so important to remember all of those corrections that your coach was telling you in practice, they're not just going to magically be fixed at the meet, right? That's why we have to be doing our job in practice, making those little corrections, pointing our toes, using our turns wisely, right? Because those corrections aren't just going to be fixed automatically. We can't go to a meet and try to fix everything there, right? That's probably not a good idea. That's why practice is important. But I would tell myself all the things that I've been working on in practice. So on my double out, I would say strong arms. In a double out, it's so important to get your arms up and get a good, strong set. So I would tell myself, turn your round up back handspring over, strong arms. That's like, these are literally the hand motions I would do. This was me turning my round off over. So pushing through the floor, right? Because if we're pushing on a round off, then our arms are going to be strong in the back handspring, and then we'll have a good set. So I would say, strong arms, that was my double out. And then my second pass was a front layout, front full. And girls, I tell this to any gymnast I coach. If you are my gymnast at Capitol, you hear this all the time. If you have been with me during camps, this is what I say for front layouts. You have to think of a front layout. If you guys have ever played foosball, low power battery. That table game of soccer, you know what I'm talking about, where all the little people are on that little rod and they're all kicking the ball. When you turn that pole and that person moves in one motion, that's a front layout. It comes from your arms, you squeeze your bottom, and you drive your heels over, okay? It doesn't come from throwing your chest out, and that's something I needed to remind myself. So I'd say, turn it over. I would use my arms because it starts like this. Or if you don't know what foosball is, think of a rotisserie chicken. That's like spinning and cooking, right? It stays in the same place because the arm is rotating. That bar is rotating. I know. I'm so creative. I know. So I thought about turning over, driving my heels, and punching up for the twist. A lot of times, whether you're back tumbling or front tumbling, we want to go up and we just want to pull it down and wrap, right? Well, wherever your arms are going, your body's going to follow, right? So if you are going up and then pulling down, my body's going down. Well, on a front full, I'm already going forward. I don't want to go down, right? I'll go to my bottom. So I want to punch and twist up. I want to pull my body up. So I would think turn over, pull up. Now for the last pass, finally, I would do a front through step out to double tuck. The front tuck, I told myself to turn it over, because if you guys do this front tuck step out, you know it's so important to have a good turnover. If you take it up too high, you're going to come right back down and you have nothing in the rest of that tumbling pass. So it was super important to turn over that front tuck and reach into that round off, because if I'm just putting my arms down right by my feet, I'm going to have no strong round off at all. There's going to be no power for that round off, and that back handspring is going to be funky, and it's just going to be a hot mess. So you have to turn over that front tuck, reach into the round off, and that'll give you a good strong set. And then I tell myself, girl, you better stick it. So that was my floor routine.
Tell yourself what, girl, what?
I was just kidding, but I was saying, girl, you better stick it.
Oh, got it. Okay.
No, it was a joke.
Oh,
but I mean, yeah.
Okay. Rotisserie chicken.
Rotisserie chicken.
That
Yep.
is hysterical.
Do
All right.
you, like, does that metaphor make sense though? Like, are you following?
Totally.
Sweet. Awesome.
All too. So
yeah, that one's better.
let's take ourselves through one of it.
Okay. Girls, pick. Do what?
Coach Kelley, take us through one of it.
Kelley. Okay, let's do vault, because I feel like that's one that people, it's so quick and there's not like any time to think. So I think that's a really good one we could focus on. So girls, pretend, because I think anyone had a state meet. I know our season got cut. So let's pretend we're at a state meet, right? If you're level 5 or 6 and you get that cute little tank Leo with your state name on it, pretend you're in that Leo. If not, you are in your competition gym club Leo, okay? It's your last event. If you nail this vault, you get first place and you're the best in the state. That's like the coolest thing ever. So you're ready to go. Maybe you're doing a handstand flat back. Maybe you're doing a front handspring. Maybe you're doing a Suk or your Chenko or whatever, front handspring flip vault like I did. Maybe your vault's different, but we're focused right now, okay? So we are standing, we're waiting for the judge, the line, we're looking at our number on the tape measure. We found our spot, right? I hope you guys are all standing up doing this. By the way, I'm on my knees. I'm not this short. I just wanted everyone to know that. So you're on your line, you're on your number, you're focused, and you're about to go down the vault runway. What are you telling yourself? Maybe you have bent arms on the table in your front handspring, so you're telling yourself, chest up on that board, tight arms, and push through the vault and stick. Maybe that's what you're telling yourself. Maybe if you have your Chenko, you're telling yourself, turn my round off over, block off the table, and then wrap and twist. If you have a handstand flat back, maybe you're thinking, hit the block or hit the mat hard, nice tight handstand, land nice. Whatever those keywords are, try telling yourself different things. Think about those corrections that you need to make and think about words that will help you think about making those things better, okay? So the judge just saluted and you're ready to go. You're on the vault runway, take a deep breath, and you're running and you hit the table, you hit the board, you hit the table, and now you've stuck the landing. It's so important to visualize and see yourself being successful, because if you see yourself doing it successful, if you tell yourself you're being successful, you will be successful. How many times when you're scared and you say, oh my gosh, I'm gonna fall, you fall. Your mind matters, girls. What you tell your mind matters. What you say out loud matters. If you say something out loud and it's negative, that negative energy is going to come to you. Those negative things everything's going to feel negative. That's why words are so powerful. How about the saying, sticks and stones may break my bone? No, that's actually a complete opposite. Words can hurt you. Words can hurt you. You're supposed to talk to yourself positively, because that will help you not only be a more positive person in all aspects of life, but a better gymnast in that moment. So girls, make sure you are visualizing.
Great. And powerful, 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 powerful words.
Yes.
We're going to turn the comments on here in a second to the great questions for McKenna. But I want to share, when I got to UCLA, there was a gymnast. His name was Kelly, and he was an elite gymnast. She had injured her foot. I think 2 years, but it was definitely a year. And at UCLA, she was a good beam worker. She wasn't a great beam worker when she came in. So for a year and a half, at least, all she did was 20 visualized routines a day. And then after 2 years, fast forward, we're in a gymnastics meet, and one of my girls gets injured, and we have to put Trina in. Actually, we had an alternate in that wasn't Trina. And I looked to the alternate, and she had like deer in the headlight. This is not good. And Trina said, I'll go. Well, Trina had been doing one a week for like maybe a
Yeah.
I said, okay, go Trina. She does a beautiful routine. And then she finishes competing for the season. And her beam was flawless. And I asked her, I said, how are you competing beam better than you did before? And she said, I do so many routines, Ms. Val. I'm no longer in bad habits. I'm
Yep.
only good habits.
Yep.
Was
Absolutely.
that was the time for me as a coach that I fully believe in the power of positive talk and the power of positive image in my brain.
It's so important, you guys. It's so important, especially those of you who are struggling with mental blocks. I always tell my gymnasts, picture yourself doing those skills. If you're scared of a back tuck off the beam, if you're scared of a back walkover, your homework every single night is to visualize a perfect skill, that perfect skill that gives you that mental block perfectly 5 times in a row. If you picture yourself balking, or if you picture yourself falling, or whatever your fear is, you got to start over because it starts up here.
Awesome. Kenna, I not scrolling like I physically scroll.
Yeah, I can scroll.
Question,
Wait, what are you asking?
can you see questions they're
I
coming in?
can't. Well, I can see the comments.
Thank you very much. Hello. Someone says you're her favorite gymnast. How old were you when you, McKenna? How old were you when you started?
Oh, sorry. You cut out every now and then. I was actually 2 years old when I started gymnastics.
Well,
Yeah,
okay. Your mom was. That doesn't surprise me. So
exactly.
you are so positive. Have you
How
always?
am I so?
You are
Is the
so
question?
positive.
How am I? Sorry, it keeps cutting
Have
out.
you always been this
Oh,
positive?
I don't know if foot cramp. I don't know if I ever noticed I was this positive. I'm someone who's very realistic with myself. And what I mean by that is I don't like to sugarcoat things. I don't like to tell myself something that I don't think is going to help me. So let me give you an example. I like to be very honest with myself. So I know we've all been there. Those days where you walk in the gym and you are like, I'm so tired. I just don't want to be here today. I'm so tired. I stayed up all night studying for this test. Or maybe you play another sport and you had a soccer game this last weekend and you were still so tired from that. Whatever some days you just have those days and that's okay. First of all, that is so okay. That's normal. That's human. That doesn't mean you're a bad gymnast. It doesn't mean you're an evil person. It's normal to have those days. Those days I would tell myself though, okay, you know what? Yeah, I'm really tired today and that's okay. But I still have a 4-hour practice, whether I like it or not, whether I'm tired, whether I'm happy, whether I'm injured, I still have a 4-hour practice today. So am I going to let those 4 hours be so miserable? Am I going to let those 4 hours, am I going to go up on the bar and purposely fall over on a cast handstand because I don't want to do the assignment today? No, that's only going to hurt myself. So yeah, maybe I don't want to do those 10 beam routines today, but I'm going to give it my best effort. Maybe the day before you had the best practice ever and you were nailing every skill, you were hitting all of your cast handstands, you were sticking everything, and then you come in today and it's like one of those days where everything is just not working. You fall on everything and you're not trying to fall, you're just having one of those days. I think it's really important to remember in those moments, hey, yesterday was yesterday, today is a new day. They don't have to look the same. Just because I had a fall doesn't mean I'm a bad gymnast. It doesn't mean I'm never going to get this skill. I think it's super important to look at yourself, ask yourself, maybe I am feeling tired or sick today, but I'm going to give it my best effort. Your effort may look different each day, but I think as long as you're showing up and being intentional with every turn, that's how you become a better gymnast. And that's how the bad days make you a better gymnast.
That's so helpful. Everybody how helpful this is being. So, like, do you have a favorite quote that you
Do.
when you're scared?
Yes. Okay. So I love quotes more than anything ever. Growing up, when I started taking gymnastics really seriously and I kind of was figuring out, hey, I'm kind of good at this and I want to do something with this. I want to go to college or I want to, whatever my goal was at the time. I knew how focused you need to be to get your job done, right? It all counts on you. You make your dreams work, right? Your dreams happen because you do the work. They're not just going to happen on their own.
And obviously having my mom being an Olympian, I would go to all the cool events with her. So I'd go to Visa Championships and watch Shawn Johnson right in front of me. And I would go to Olympic trials. And so I always got to see these super motivated, crazy good, amazing, strong, athletic women right in front of me. I always had that kind of as someone to look up to, all of them. But and I knew their hard work didn't just start in the gym. It started at home. It started staying focused in school, because that gave you a good mindset. It was taking nutrition seriously. It was doing all the rehab. It was a lifestyle, not just in the gym. And I wanted to be I just wanted that so bad. I wanted to emulate that. So I would look up quotes and I would watch motivational videos all the time of my favorite gymnasts. And I would just write sticky notes everywhere. My senior year in high school, I decided to homeschool and train elite. That was kind of a random goal that I always wanted to try again, because I got to always watch those events and watch those elite gymnasts. And so I was like, you know what? I want to give it a try. I know I'm not going to make the Olympic team, but I want to see what I can do with it. So I homeschooled. I gave up a high school senior year, and I went for it. And you should have seen my room when before you even opened my door, right on the front of my door, I had a picture of the Fab Five, just taped right there with their Olympic medals, just smiling. They just won. I mean, that was everything to me. That London Olympics was the best. I mean, I will argue with anyone. That was the best gymnastics event ever, was that team final. Then you'd walk in my room and I had sticky notes everywhere, on my mirror, on my windows, on my wall, like everywhere, constantly reminding me, like, why am I doing this? Like on those days where I'm so tired and my body hurts, like, remember your why, or remember why you started. There was a quote that Chelsea Memel said that really, really got to me. It said something like, nothing is impossible if you work hard. And that sounds simple and it's so cliche, but it's so true. Like, if you think about it, the things that don't usually work out, how hard were you working? Did you give it your all? Usually you're not going to walk away from something feeling defeated if you gave it everything you got. And that's what I wanted to do, is just give it everything I got. So but going off of that, my favorite quote is, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. I love that.
Oh, say that again, a little slower.
Yeah, so this is by Zig Ziglar. That's his name, cool name. The quote is, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Love it.
Love it. Okay.
So strong.
So I hope all of you can realize now why she's one of my favorite people. You can and be sad. I mean, there's no way. Your energy, your positive is just infectious. And it's
Thank you.
I need it so much.
Thank you.
So when I take over Gotham Live here, I love to finish with a really empowering statement.
Sure.
So I want all the comments right now, and in big bold letters, I want you to write I am, and then finish it with what you
I
are.
love that.
Somebody yesterday said, I am not very good on being. Like, no.
No, that's not what.
Positive. So I am excited to get good on beam.
Yes.
So
that's a good way to flip that.
We're gonna hit post, and they're all gonna go cutting. So
I'm gonna post one too.
Which I am. I did something. No,
Your backyard's pretty.
There you go. Thank you. That's my backyard. Okay, you guys ready?
Oh,
I
think we're.
am. Hit post.
I'm a bar swinger. I love that.
What is yours?
No, someone said I'm a bar swinger. I love that. Bars was my weakest event, and I had to tell myself those things too, for sure.
That's so cool. What was yours?
I'm not afraid of my flick lay on beam. I love it. I love it. Yes, start telling yourself that.
Love it.
These are so good, you guys.
This is so good. Positivity always.
I'm prepared. I love that. I used to tell myself that before I competed. I'm prepared. I'm ready. I've done the numbers.
Oh, that's so good.
These are awesome, y'all.
this. I am a gymnast. I will be great. Yes, you will. I am motivated. I am confident. I love it. I'm strong.
These are awesome, you guys.
Guys, these are so good. I'm relentless. Yes, you are. I am not scared of my back handspring on beam. Anna Grace. Yes. I couldn't read the rest of the word. That's
I'm brave enough to do my giants. I love that.
I am enough. Yes, you are. You all are. This was so good. So
Way to
good.
go, guys.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Can't wait to continue to follow you and know that you're going to be doing amazing things in your life.
Thank you.
You guys check in tomorrow is Wednesday. So we're going to be doing a little choreo, 5, 6, 7, 8 with Callie Mosette. And then on Thursday, Warren coming in from Florida to do some conditioning with us. Friday, we're finishing up your good friend. So, see you all tomorrow again. Be kind, be strong, be confident, powerful mind.
Yes.
Thank you.
Visualize, guys. Go visualize your skills.
Love you. Mwah.